This video will be a little bit different than normal, and I hope my recent and ongoing struggles can remind you of why we all create, and to not lose your life and your joy in the process. I've been writing a screenplay for about a year now. Well, writing one seriously while working slowly on others, and the time came recently to get notes. I thought, as most writers do, that I had a winner on my hands. The notes tended to disagree. This sent me into a bit of a tailspin for about a week. I doubted my own abilities both to create and to evaluate what I created. This was perhaps the most I've ever felt this uncertainty, but it is not a new feeling. After every short film, every video, every draft, I get a little tinge of doubt. And over the last year, this has worn down my artistic resolve little by little. I'm never satisfied with what I create. Sometimes it even borders on hate. I was missing something creatively to keep me running long term, not just in short bursts between bouts of bruised defeat. And just when the question had reached a fiery peak, as tends to happen, I was presented with a path forward in the unlikely form of Shia LaBeouf. A little over a year ago, Shia LaBeouf appeared as a guest on Bishop Barron Presents to discuss his role as Padre Pio in the movie of the same name. Most of, if not all of, the interview sidesteps the film to primarily focus on how the role led him to the Lord. The film was and is undoubtedly important to him, but primarily as a process, not as a final product. This is what I had been forgetting. We've all been told to love the process before, to just take our time and smell the roses, but that advice is so abstract and easy to lose. How does one enjoy a process that can drag on for so long, that contains so many lows, struggles, defeats, and that always entails failure? We think we are enjoying the process in those moments of clarity that come with revelations and breakthroughs, or when we pick up the pen, brush, or camera after thinking we may not ever again. These are definitely a part of loving the process, but are too fleeting to enter a committed relationship with. It's so easy to lose track of ourselves when creating. I truly thought I was enjoying the process, until I had some pushback. In many ways, the question at the heart of the product versus process debate is, why do we create? Is it for ourselves or for others? Of course, the answer lies in the middle, but the difficulty is in maintaining that balance. And at both extremes, we abandon the love of simple exploration, discovery, and being. All of these processes leave room for failure and redemption, but the final product never does. We either got it all right, usually determined by others' reception, or we failed and there's no going back or forward. How do we then become more cognizant of the process and work to not just passively, but actively engage with it? Truthfully, I am still figuring this out, and I think it's a battle that will continue forever. But there are a few ideas that have helped me. Firstly, I think it is essential to reframe our view of art away from communication, or at least away from a view of communication as clear and stable. Any and all communication is not a direct link or conduit, but rather a mess of conflicting influences and noise. If we view our art then as ourselves simply stating or explaining facts, we will always fail because the metric is impossible. But if we instead face each creation as an exploration of an idea or concept, leaning more into our own perspective and limitations, we instead turn our failures into features. Take this very video, for instance. I started out trying to write a survey of why we create, why we care about products, and what to do. The end product was so information heavy but content light because I was not active in the work, struggling and thinking alongside all of you. I was failing because I was refusing to admit that I could never succeed. Secondly, I think it is important to embrace more why nots. Our why nots are those little moments that feel right, despite being odd or imperfect in the larger picture. In every work, there comes a time to drill down and refine, but this is quickly followed by more experimentation within the new confines. Embrace each stage's experimentation as an opportunity to see things anew, to shift and change what you wanted to say. Finally, and most importantly, remind yourself to simply live. The first two suggestions I have found incredibly helpful in combating the world and its demands for ease of use, but this third is solely focused on ourselves. For most artists I know, their work begins to define all that they are. To some extent, this is only natural because we never know most artists, but we see a lot of their work. And of course, our work will outlast ourselves, so why not throw some of our life away to have a greater future? To some extent, this can be a noble cause, but in reality, it rarely is. Our lives are not made up of finalized products, but rather the finalized products are simply parts of our lives. For me, this cherishing of life and trying to subsume my work into my life took the simple form of counting my blessings. Sure, my short film wasn't what I was hoping it would be, but look at the people I became friends with and the ways they've enriched my life. Sure, my latest video didn't turn out like I wanted or perform as well, but you know what? I did better. I figured out that new technique, read some cool books, etc., etc. To me, This is what people really mean when they say to stop and smell the roses. Before concluding this collection of thoughts, I want to offer one word of caution. As we learn to embrace the process and its essential elements of failure and discovery, there's a small inclination that maybe we ought to just create solely for ourselves. Of course, practice is essential, but we create to share, and without sharing, we are not taking enough of a risk to truly fail and discover. We may be safe, but at what cost? As with any essential struggle, the battle is never truly over. We will all lose ourselves in our work again, so all we can hope for is the little reminders to pull us back to reality. At some point, I think we are all going to have to be humbled, probably a few times, in order to reorient ourselves. I hope this video can be a reminder to you, a reminder to enjoy the joys of discovery and growth that can be found in between finalized products, to cherish the challenges because they will make you stronger. And if you only remember one thing from this whole video, I hope it is this. Forget whatever you or I will ever make, but never forget the friends you've made, the places you've been, and the greater understanding you've been gifted by simply creating. And with that, adios.